I paid my sister's $2,500 rent for years. She cut me off and called me a jerk, so I turned off the money and watched reality hit her. This isn't just a story about a sister who broke my trust. It's about a betrayal so cold, so calculated, it still makes my blood run cold. For years, I truly believed I was saving my little sister from the brink, only to discover she was living the high life off my back, literally, in my apartment, while laughing all the way to the bank. The crisp New York air on Fifth Avenue usually invigorates me, but that night, it did nothing to cool the fire burning in my chest. My heart was a drum, pounding a furious rhythm against my ribs. For 3 years, Emily, my dear younger sister, had been my responsibility. Every month, without fail, I'd transfer $2,500, a significant chunk of my income, to cover her rent. She'd call, always on the verge of tears, whispering, "Alex, I have no money for food. I can barely pay the electric bill. If I move, I'll be in danger. You're my only support." And I, like the naive fool I was, fell for it every single time. I told myself it was for family, for love, for responsibility. But that night, a dark, gnawing unease had settled in. A whisper in the back of my mind that something was terribly wrong. I climbed the elegant steps of her building, my building really, the one I paid for, and rang the doorbell. Silence. I frowned, tried again. Nothing. A cold dread seeped into my stomach. Emily had given me a spare set of keys when she moved in, another favor, so I pulled them out, my hand trembling slightly, and unlocked the door. What I saw inside, it froze me. 2 blonde men, clearly tourists, were lounging comfortably in my living room. My living room. Wine glasses on my coffee table, a NYC guidebook open, backpacks scattered on the floor. One of them looked up and smiled, a friendly, oblivious smile. "Ah, you must be the owner," he said, in English with a thick German accent. "Thank you for letting us stay here. It's a fantastic place." The world literally tilted beneath my feet. "Excuse me," I managed, my voice a strangled whisper. My heart was a jackhammer against my ribs. "We booked this Airbnb a week ago. My wife and I love it." Airbnb. The word hung in the air, thick and suffocating, wrapping around me like a boa constrictor. It couldn't be. Not Emily. Not my Emily. With fingers that felt numb, I fumbled for my phone. Sweat slicked my palm as I opened the Airbnb app and typed in the address. What flashed on the screen made my throat tighten, stealing the air from my lungs. Luxury apartment in the heart of New York City. $400 per night. No. I whispered it, but my eyes couldn't stop scanning. Every photo, every corner of the apartment. It was mine. The marble table I helped pick out. The designer lamp Emily insisted on buying. My bed. My sofa. Everything. But the real kick to the gut. The description. A luxurious oasis in New York's most exclusive neighborhood. 24/7 customer service. Perfect for travelers seeking comfort and exclusivity. My heart pounded. My hands trembled, gripping the phone so tight I had an irrational urge to smash it. Emily. She hadn't just lied. She hadn't just deceived me. She had scammed me. Used me. Taken advantage of my trust, my love, my brotherly responsibility. She'd been draining me of $2,500 a month while raking in nearly double that, renting out my place to strangers. "Anything okay?" the tourist asked, noticing my pale face. I didn't answer. My thoughts were a crashing storm, dark and furious. How long? How long had this been going on? How could she do this? How much money had she stolen? I closed my eyes, trying to contain the rage bubbling up, searing my throat. My fists clenched, nails digging into my skin. Emily had no idea. Her game was over. I left that apartment without saying another word. That night, New York City shone as brightly as ever, but to me, it had never looked so filthy. The city lights blurred through my windshield as I drove, aimlessly. I couldn't go home. Not yet. The fury inside me was a wild animal, clawing at my chest, demanding release. I pressed the accelerator. Emily had scammed me. This wasn't just about money, it was about betrayal. Manipulation. Blatant, open mockery. How long had she been doing this? Since the beginning. Had she been lying the entire time about being broke? I gripped the steering wheel, knuckles white. Don't act impulsively. I knew I couldn't just call her and scream. No. I had to destroy her. With intelligence. With precision. I pulled into a 24-hour cafe, my fingers icy, and took out my phone. The Airbnb listing was still open. I took a deep breath and did the first thing that came to mind. Instagram. Emily Morgan. At Lux Life. The first few photos made my stomach churn. Emily on the terrace of the Four Seasons, champagne flute in hand, Manhattan skyline glowing behind her. Emily at Per Se, posing with an extravagant 3 Michelin star dish. Emily by the pool at the Plaza Hotel, bikini, cocktail, with the caption, "Work hard, enjoy harder." Work hard. The irony was a bitter taste in my mouth. I kept scrolling. Dozens of pictures. Designer clothes. Luxury luggage at the airport. Dining at exclusive spots. Every single post was a slap to the face. How much of this luxury did she steal from me? A roar rose in my throat. But the worst, the absolute worst, came when I opened her story highlights. A folder titled, "My Sweet Home." I clicked. The first video showed my apartment. But it wasn't a home, it was a luxury showroom for tourists. Emily recorded the living room, the kitchen, the view from the balcony. "I worked so hard to get this place, but it was worth it." Her voice cooed sweetly over the video. The next one showed a foreign couple smiling at the camera. "Welcome to New York, guys. Hope you enjoy your stay in my apartment." The phone nearly slipped from my hands. "Oh my God, Emily." My blood boiled. I shut my eyes, taking a deep, shuddering breath. This wasn't just a lie anymore. This was a direct insult. A spit in the face. "Alexander, where are you?" 3 dots appeared. Then, Emily, at home. Why? At home. A lie. I checked the time. 12:23 a.m. I reopened the Airbnb app. My apartment's listing was still up. Status: booked until Saturday. Emily wasn't home. Where the hell was she? Clenching my jaw, I scrolled through her stories until I found it. Location: the Plaza Hotel. 2 hours ago. She'd posted a story from the hotel's bar, holding a cocktail. Caption: "A toast to the life I deserve." I let out a dry, humorless laugh. The life you deserve? We'll see about that. I started the car. Emily had no idea what was coming. The engine roared through the silent New York night as I drove toward the plaza. My hands were still tight on the wheel, my jaw aching from clenching. My mind wasn't clear, just one image flashing on repeat. Emily, raising her glass, toasting to the life she deserved, while I paid her damn rent. No. Not anymore. I swerved sharply into Columbus Circle, parking right in front of the Grand Hotel. Stepping out, I felt the fury pulsing in my chest with every heartbeat. She had no idea I had found her out. The lobby of the Plaza Hotel was a spectacle of marble and crystal chandeliers, but I couldn't care less. My eyes scanned the room until they landed on her. Emily. She was at the bar, relaxed, smiling, comfortably settled on a velvet couch, a glass of Dom Perignon in hand. She wasn't alone. Across from her, a suited man was laughing, leaning toward her in a clearly flirtatious manner. He looked like one of those executives who played at being rich with borrowed money. And Emily, in her tight red dress and crimson lipstick, was the perfect image of a high-maintenance woman who lived off other people's cash. A shiver of pure, cold fury ran up my spine. No more games. I approached with firm steps, ignoring the soft background music and the curious glance from the bartender as I passed. Emily kept laughing, swirling her glass elegantly, until she saw me. The color drained from her face. What are you doing here?" she stammered, setting her glass down. The man beside her glanced at me with curiosity, but I didn't even spare him a look. "Stand up." My voice was low, tense, barely a whisper. "Alex, this isn't the time." "Stand." "No." Emily blinked, feigning confusion. "Please, don't make a scene." "A scene?" I let out another dry laugh and tossed my phone onto the table. The screen still displayed the Airbnb listing. Her listing. For my apartment. Emily stared at it, and her expression shifted. Panic. This isn't. Don't take me for a fool. I cut her off, leaning over the table. 3 years. 3 damn years I've been paying your rent while you made money behind my back. 3 years, Emily. The man beside her shifted uncomfortably. I think I should leave. Yes, you should, I snapped, not breaking eye contact with my sister. The guy stood up quickly and walked away without looking back. Emily swallowed hard. Listen, I can explain. I don't want your explanations. I want to know how much money you stole from me. I didn't steal anything, she whispered, glancing around nervously, as if afraid someone might hear. I clenched my fists. Oh, really? Then tell me, where do you sleep when your apartment is booked? Emily looked away. In 5-star hotels, right? With my money. I watched her lick her lips, desperately searching for a believable lie. But there wasn't one. Not this time. How much? I repeated, planting my hands firmly on the table. I want the exact number. Emily clicked her tongue. Why does it even matter? Why are you so upset? It's not like you don't have money. Silence. A silence so thick that the only sound was the soft melody of the pianist in the background. I felt heat rising in my chest. There it was. That arrogant attitude. That cheap justification. Emily had never felt guilty. Not once. I leaned in closer, my voice a sharp whisper. Tell me something, Emily. If it didn't matter, why lie? Why pretend you couldn't even pay the electric bill while living like a damn queen? She looked away. Because I knew that if I told you, you'd stop paying for me. A bitter laugh rose in my throat. Unbelievable. You say it like it's nothing. Emily lifted her chin defiantly. Look, Alex, I didn't do anything illegal. You were just naive enough never to ask. Boom. The final blow. A confession disguised as mockery. I stared at her for a long second, then let out a dry chuckle. You know what? You're right. Emily blinked, caught off guard. What? You're right. I was a fool. But do you know what's the best thing about realizing something like that? I straightened up, grabbed my phone from the table, and slid it into my pocket. That now, I can fix it. I turned and walked out of the hotel without looking back. Emily remained seated, pale, her mouth slightly open. She didn't know it yet, but her life of luxury had just died. The echo of my own footsteps on the marble floor was the only sound I heard. My heart was pounding, but my mind had never been clearer. There was no turning back. I got into my car and slammed the door shut, taking a deep breath. I tried to calm the fury still burning inside me, but I wasn't going to explode. Not this time. I was going to destroy her, calmly, with precision. I pulled out my phone and dialed my bank. Good evening, I want to cancel an automatic transfer. Of course, sir. What's the amount? $2, $500 per month, I replied, coldly. The rent payment for my sister. The operator typed something, followed by a brief silence. Understood, Mr. Morgan. The transfer has been cancelled. Done. The game was over. Now Emily was going to fall. The next morning, my phone vibrated on the nightstand. Emily. 10 missed calls. I rolled my eyes and let it keep ringing. A message popped up seconds later. Asterisk Emily. Alex, we need to talk. It's urgent. Asterisk I smirked. Urgent, like paying rent without my money. The 3 dots appeared immediately, showing she was typing. Asterisk Emily. Don't be childish. Let's just talk. Asterisk Alexander. You have nothing left to say to me, Emily. Asterisk Emily. Alex, damn it. What did you do? The landlord just called me. He says the payment never arrived. Did you cancel it? Alexander. Asterisk yes, Emily. I did. Asterisk Emily. You can't do this to me. Alexander. Asterisk silence. Then another call. Ignored. I got up calmly and made myself a coffee, enjoying the silence. For the first time in years, I didn't feel the weight of anyone else's problems on my shoulders. Until my phone rang again. This time, an unknown number. "Yes, Mr. Morgan." The male voice was sharp. "This is James Murphy, the landlord of the apartment on Fifth Avenue." I was silent for a second. "How can I help you?" "I need to speak with you about your sister. I just found out what she's been doing with my property." I calmly set my coffee cup down. "I'm listening." "A neighbor alerted me last night. I checked on Airbnb and, sure enough, Emily has been renting the apartment to tourists without my permission." "I'm not surprised," I said, a faint, vindictive smile playing on my lips. "What do you plan to do about it?" "Evict her." A wave of pure satisfaction washed over me. "Good decision. The lease is under her name, right?" "Yes." "But I need you to come sign the cancellation of the lease. Tell me when, and I'll be there." "Today. At 4 p.m. See you then." I hung up. For the first time in years, I felt free. At 4 p.m., I arrived at the landlord's office and signed the paperwork with an almost therapeutic calm. That was the final nail in the coffin of Emily's luxurious life. When I left the building, my phone exploded with calls again. "Emily." I ignored the first 3, then the 4th. But on the 5th, I decided to answer. "What's up, sis?" "I've been evicted from the apartment," she yelled, her voice raw with panic. "The landlord says you canceled the lease. How could you do this to me?" I let out a low chuckle. "Me? No, Emily. You did this to yourself." She gasped, unable to believe what she was hearing. "You have nowhere to go, do you?" I said mockingly. "Alex, please. I don't have a home. I don't have money. I don't have anything." "Welcome to reality, Emily." Silence. Then a muffled sob. "Alex, I can't live on the street. Not my problem. But I'm your sister. I thought you were my sister." I retorted, my voice like ice. "But you only saw me as an ATM." Silence again, but this time, she knew she had lost. "Tell me, Emily," I added, my tone cutting, "what luxury hotel will you be staying in tonight?" She didn't answer. "I thought you worked hard for the life you deserve, don't you?" She sobbed again. "Don't call me again." And I hung up. Then I blocked her number. Standing on the sidewalk, I savored the cool evening air. For the first time in years, I didn't have to carry anyone else's burdens. Emily would finally learn what it meant to earn a living on her own. But not with my money. The sound of the rain hitting the windows of my apartment in Los Angeles filled the silence of the night. I sat on my small balcony with a half-finished glass of wine, watching the city lights reflect on the wet pavement. A year had passed. A year since I blocked Emily's number. A year since I left behind New York, Fifth Avenue, and the soul-crushing weight of being her damn personal bank. My life had improved. That was a fact. I no longer had to calculate if I could afford a small indulgence without my bank account suffering. There were no more pleas from Emily. No more desperate calls. No more lies disguised as need. And yet, something inside me still wasn't entirely at peace. That something took shape just an hour ago. An unexpected message from an unknown number. *Alex, please. I need to talk to you. It's important. I stared at the screen for several long minutes, feeling a pressure in my chest I hadn't felt in months. I knew it was her. But I didn't reply. Couldn't. Still, the message remained there, glowing, refusing to be ignored. Did I really want to ignore it? 3 hours ago, the night in Los Angeles had been calm, peaceful. Until that unknown number appeared on my phone screen. Instinct kicked in. I knew immediately. I didn't respond, but the phone rang again. And again. By the 4th ring, frustration bubbled over. I slid my finger to answer. "What do you want?" Silence. Then, a nervous breath. "Alex." Her voice sounded more fragile than I remembered. "Don't hang up, please." I clenched my jaw. My first instinct was to hang up, block her, move on with my life. But something in her tone stopped me. For the first time in years, Emily didn't sound smug. She didn't sound like the woman who thought she was untouchable. She sounded broken. We have nothing to talk about. Yes, we do, she exhaled in a whisper. We've had it all this time, but you never wanted to listen to me. I let out a dry chuckle. Listen to you? After you stole from me? After you lied to my face for years? I know. That simple phrase threw me off. You know. I repeated, frowning. Yes. And I'm sorry. Silence. I rested my elbow on the table, massaging the bridge of my nose. What was I supposed to do with that? Emily, I don't care. I'm in New York. In a horrible hostel in the Bronx. I closed my eyes. Not my problem. I know. Again. But not in a mocking tone. Not in a manipulative tone. Not in the tone I had come to know. I just wanted to tell you that you were right. A chill crawled down my neck. Right about what? About everything. Silence. She took a deep breath. When you let me fall, I thought you'd cave. That you'd come back. I didn't say anything. But you didn't. And I realized. I didn't know how to do anything without you. She ran her tongue across her tense lips. I discovered what it really means to be alone, Alex. Not having money. Not having real friends. Not having anywhere to go. I squeezed my eyes shut tightly. This was what I had always wanted, right? For her to understand. For her to pay for what she did. But then why did my chest feel so heavy? I didn't call you to ask for money. I didn't call you to get me out of here. I swallowed hard. Then what for? To ask you if there's a chance you'll forgive me. A knot tightened in my throat. I don't know. Tell me when you know. And she hung up. Now, on the balcony, the message still glowed on the screen. Alex, please. I need to talk to you. It's important. I closed my eyes. It had been a year since I got my life back, since I stopped being my sister's puppet. And yet tonight, sitting under the rain with a half-finished glass of wine, I realized that my story wasn't over. I didn't know what to do. Did Emily deserve a second chance? Or can some betrayals simply never be forgiven? I took a deep breath and slid my finger across the screen. I didn't reply. But I didn't delete the message either. I looked at the reflection of the city lights in my glass and asked myself the question I couldn't answer. What would you do?